Let's take a look at hazards and risks in your business and how to analyze and evaluate a hazard. This is OneFix and the basic details of a hazard that's been registered. Just to recap, hazards can be linked to multiple outcomes. They can be linked through to multiple processes within your organization and/or multiple locations. Let's focus now on the analysis and evaluation of the hazard. In this tab we see the two outcomes that have been added. And to these outcomes we can add multiple effects, each of which can have its own assessment. Let's look at food contamination. And we're going to add an effect. I'm going to search for a product related effect. And we'll choose product recall. For this effect, I can now conduct a risk assessment. When we add a new assessment, we have the opportunity to add existing controls, which could be classified as primary, secondary, tertiary. They can also be designated as critical controls or process controls with various units of measure. And each control can also be attached to documentation within the OneFix document library. Conducting the initial assessment involves capturing the assessment date. You may want to link the assessment to dedicated assessors in your organization, and this can be done by linking through to preloaded person lists. And the assessment itself involves a consequence, likelihood and exposure calculation. And the exact nature of these lists can be modified for your particular requirements if needed. A risk score is calculated, and this can be given a threshold to determine whether it's a significant or non-significant risk, and the assessment at this point is saved. Having conducted the initial assessment, we're now ready to add any details of an action plan that may be required for the further evaluation and analysis of this hazard. Describe the action plan, link it through to any people that may be involved in carrying out the plan, again using preloaded lists from your own organization. And capture details of any authorization that's required from people specifically designated as hazard managers. Having got the basic details of the action plan, we're now ready to look at any actions that may be required. I can add as many actions as I require at this point. Describe the action, classify the action, and assign it to a person in my organization. I'm going to look for one of the participants in the action plan, assign it through with a due date and a priority. Each action can have documentation attached or further related actions, and all the processing steps until its closure are captured in a dedicated audit trail. The assignee receives a notification as soon as the action is raised, and the status of the action is monitored against the hazard until its final closure. So at this point we've added an initial assessment, an action plan, and one or more corrective actions with assignees. We're now ready to move into the next phase of managing this hazard and its risks. That's analysis and evaluation, but there are many other steps that OneFix can support through the management of a hazard and risk. If you want to know more, come and talk to us or visit onefix.com.